Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm on here early today. To the annoyance of those who do not want me to come on here. However, this won't stop, and I won't quit. And this is just what it is. This is how it goes. This is the life that we did not choose, but we're here, and it is what it is. There are always going to be disturbances in this sort of lifestyle, in a sort of arena where you are helping people to the detriment of other people. So there is always going to be some sort of disruption. There's always going to be some sort of negative energy, projections, obviously spell work because we're dealing with the spiritual realm, etc., etc., etc. It comes with the territory. And honestly, the sooner you accept it and just embrace it and know that this is what's happening, the better. Let me explain something about this situation. You cannot receive blessings when you cannot handle attacks. All right? You cannot receive things that you are not ready for. Okay? All of us, we want to skip forward to the Lamborghini right away. And we don't even have a driver's license. And you definitely are not going to put a 13-year-old behind any kind of car, an old car or a new car, because it is a safety concern. So this is how you have to sort of like look at your situation. There are blessings for you, but you are not yet equipped to hold them, to handle them. So life comes at you to train you, train your hands, train your strength. How much can you carry? Train your endurance. How long can you carry it for? Train your discernment. Where will you store it while you're taking a break? Train your intuition. Do you know who to trust? Do you leave people to watch over it for you? Etc., etc., etc. I always have one obsessed, dying, morbid skeleton who's always the first to hop in all my lives to see what I'm talking about. This is the life, is having obsessed fans, crazy people around you that are always at the edge of your orbit, dying, fighting, pleading to get in. So these are the things that you just have to deal with. You have to accept that you are in an environment where there are street rat energies that are constantly, they will steal and pickpocket, they will steal out of the garbage if they can just get close enough. So you have to adapt your mind that these are the energies that are always there. It is ridiculous. It does take a bit to listen, and I'm never going to judge anybody on their process on how long it takes to adapt to the insanity that you have to deal with. But you have to understand that anytime you're doing anything great with your life, there are going to be street rat energies. And that's what I call it, because you have to kind of think of it that way. These are not energies that have self-respect. They don't have dignity. You know, they are looking to grab anything, however, whenever. It is just obsessive. It is embarrassing, but this is what it is. And so these energies will also want to feel like they are some sort of prestigious figure, even though their actions are very like bottom of the barrel, bottom tier. So as you are progressing in your life, and this is the path that life has you on, this is the course that you're on, you must accept that these are the kind of things that will happen. You will get stalkers, you will get crazy people, You will get people who just hang on for dear life. They're not quite all there. You'll have all of that and more. Like, that is the bottom of where it starts, and more. So you do have to train yourself over time with the things that you have to do. But I always talk about adapting yourself to just the idea that every single thing that's thrown at you, you need to master it. You need to jump over it. You need to build protections around yourself. You need to build cures for them, whatever it is. And then you get to a point where you can anticipate things as they happen. You can do all of this as you relax into the environment, because as crazy as the environment is, you know, you come into any environment as the new person in the environment. It is crazy, it is scary. However, there are other people, other animals, other whatever. There's life in that environment, and they have adapted to it. So once you come in this arena, you gotta calm down and you gotta adapt to this stuff as well. And you gotta know that this is how it is. So you have to acclimatize to all of these things prior to leveling up and, you know, moving forward in your progress in your life. I talk about the people I think are gang stalked the most in life. I think are celebrities. I think celebrities are gang stalked the most. Let me explain how these energies work. So the energies that we are talking about here are vampire energies. They are energies that like to suck on other people. It could be your actual energy, your essence. It could be your vibe, or what people call your swag, your demeanor, how you do things, how you attract people to you. It could be your ideas that they want to steal and to actualize for themselves. It could be your network. It could be your family. You may be from a family that might have a lot. Whatever it is, these are energies that want to steal. And if we look at Hollywood, we look at people that have talent, people that have gifts. So this is like a prime breeding ground for people to steal from others to build themselves. It's a prime breeding ground. So when you look at being in this type of environment, you're gonna notice that even the people that agree to go along with them, they still torture these people. And that's the thing. That's where people get it wrong. I think the readers get it wrong. People think that they're stepping into an environment where they're going to be supported, they're going to be loved, it's a secret society, it's so great. No. Because the energy that is dominating that space is a demonic energy that wants to feed on confusion, gossip, jealousy, envy, constant low vibrational energy. This is what it wants to feed on. So it is going to continue to create energy that is always divisive, always dividing people, always causing chaos. Marriages don't stay together. Actually, they put the union together so that they could publicly break it apart. And this is another means that they take wealth. They extract wealth from people. Friendships don't last. It's a dog eat dog world. Nobody can trust anybody else, etc., etc., etc. This is the same way it works in these secret societies, is that nobody's happy there. This is not a place you go to be happy. Whatever it is that they promised you that seemed like a good idea at the time, you will notice is not even remotely worth what you are dealing with. It comes with constant anxiety. It comes with constant depression. It comes with constant spiritual attack. Just by joining these groups, you're almost saying to yourself, I agree to never be at peace. I agree to never have love. I agree to never... It's like you're agreeing already to just take all happiness from your life. And so the people, they need to constantly look for fresh blood, fresh people, all the time, constantly recruit, constantly bring people in, constantly grow it, because that is what these energies want. It's almost like they want total world domination. So you're going to find these energies in every major city. You're going to find them in every... whether it be major cities, Definitely places like Hollywood, anywhere there's talent, anywhere there's something good. Talent is something that is given by the Most High. It's a gift. And these entities cannot gift anyone anything, so they can help you steal. And so this is what people do. So you're gonna find yourself in a situation, you are being gang stalked, and you're saying, well, I don't have $1 million that I can give somebody over. Well, there's something else that you have, and you may or may not know what it is, but there is something else that you have that they want. Even if it is just a connection to God, even if that is all that it is. So, if you have come to some type of conclusion in your body that you are some kind of chosen one, this is a life in a jungle. This is a presence about you that will attract dangerous energies all the time. This is also something that I don't think gang stalkers should start repeating or typing about themselves if it is not true. Do not invoke this energy of persecution on your life if you are just a normal person taking bribes. Say whatever you want to say about yourself. Don't cast that over your life, because you might get what you wish for. Do you see what you're doing to chosen people? You might not want to live in that world. So, it's not something that I recommend people describing themselves as, especially when they don't know what they're chosen for. But if this life were to come with blessings, were to come with abundance, were to come with wealth, if it were to come with all of these things, one of the first things you might want to know how to do is to be gang stalked. You might want to know how to be gang stalked. You might want to adapt to being gang stalked, and you might not want to live a life that is dependent on not being gang stalked, because it might just come with the table like a waiter. It might just come with the table like the menu. It might just come with the table like a glass of water. And you know, every table is going to have one of these things. So you're also going to want to know how to be spiritually persecuted. Round the clock, all the time. Random people not liking you. Energies on people that come around you panicking. Energies coming around on people, the person, and I wanted to mention this like 3 videos ago. There will be a person that likes you. The person likes you. They like your energy. They like where you stand for. Their common sense is telling them you are a lovely person. You are a safe person. You're a safe space. The energy on that person is fighting you and attacking you and doesn't want this person to like you. If it needs to wake this person up at 3 in the morning and say, we don't like her, then that's what it's going to do. And then you'll notice this push and pull, tug of war energy that's on people when it comes to you. Like they want to like you, but they don't like you. They say things to hurt you, but and it's like they're struggling. These are people that have opened themselves up to these dark energies that have no choice. It even works like this with the person spiritually attacking me. The person spiritually attacking me definitely has some sort of admiration for me, definitely might like me as a person, definitely might feel comfortable in my space, but they're being, you know, they have entities on them that absolutely do not like me. They may know in their rational mind that this is something that they should stop, but the energies around them are not going to allow that. And, you know, when you have entities on you, it attracts these situations to you. It attracts you to be in a situation to meet that person who puts you in that situation that now you've made an agreement and this is a trap. And it almost seems like everything that you've done has been one trap after the other trap after the other trap after meeting Daisy is a trap. Working with the cartel is a trap. Getting the entity binded up to you is a trap. Still gang stalking people while the police are watching is a trap. Looking to do spell work when you go to court is a trap. All of it, traps everywhere, walking you down a guillotine with your eyes open, consciously aware, making you use your finger to push the button that says yes every time. And of course, at this point, you don't have a choice. You got to do what you got to do, because if you're going to court, you're just going to go to court. At this point, in this situation, with these people, with these, against these energies, now you're in a war that you didn't even bargain for, between good and evil, and you happen to be on the losing side. It's like this is the kind of way it works when you work with these energies. You don't pay the energy what you said you would, etc. And you know what? Your goose was cooked from long before you even dabbled into that stuff. You know what you've been doing. You know why you're here. These are just, you know, with the spell work thing, I look it up, I listen to it, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to follow along, and I'm just like, what? Are you saying this with a straight face? Calling innocent people targets? It's funny because people who do dark work, who do spell work, don't want to fight each other. So if they anticipate that you have some sort of spiritual gifts as well, or some sort of spiritual, they don't want to fight each other. They want to fight innocent people. They want to fight people who don't believe in magic. They want to fight people, you know, that are innocent, that don't believe in anything, that will not call for spiritual help. As soon as they find themselves in a situation where somebody knows what they're doing, they want to go approach and apologize and lay it to rest. Now, why do you think that is? So, if you are walking this road as a genuine targeted individual, genuinely targeted, and not just one of these extensions of the vampire, fake TIs on here who steal people's content, who steal people's messages and regurgitate it in some half-assed lazy way to make people think that they're genuine. If you are genuinely being gang stalked, I want to let you know that on the process out of this, you definitely have to get to the point where you're no longer really worried about being gang stalked, where you accept it as a part of the environment, and that you can move through a world where you are gang stalked. Because at every level of this life that you're playing, there's going to be something crazy going on. There are going to be plots being devised on you forever. When these energies are done discarding these set of people that are gang stalking you, they're gonna body hop to some other juicy, frothy, warm, wet, dirty environment that somebody else cultivates in themselves, and they're gonna sit in there, probably along with some other energies as well, and they're gonna focus on you in the same way that they did before. This is the unfortunate truth. So you have to now start relegating yourself, strengthening yourself, that you're going to walk life irregardless of what is going on around you. Because you cannot always control your environment. You can only do so much. You must create boundaries, which I, use interchangeably as borders. Limit access to yourself, train your children, protect yourself, protect your environment, put in precautions, keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel, looking all around you, focusing, being aware, but also doing it in such a way eventually where you are relaxed, because you too are also a part of this dangerous environment, which means that you need to get to a point where you too are dangerous, okay? If you are a man living in a jungle, the lion is afraid of you because it knows you're a man, and you are cautious of the lion because you know if you slip up, you might get eaten. But at the end of the day, it is your destiny to conquer the jungle because you are the man. This is the lion. It doesn't walk upright. It can't communicate in the same way that you can. It can't read. It can't write. It has strength. It's scary, but you're the man, is what I'm saying. So We don't move forward in a spirit of fear. We don't accept these messages as, oh my goodness, like blah, blah, blah. Everybody else is living in this jungle. They're just unaware. You are aware. So it puts you in a situation where you can make plans, you can form defenses, you can situate yourself in the right place. And that's the point of what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be putting yourself in a position of advantage because you know now that dangers do exist. You do not come to being gang stalked for the first time. For the first time, you do not come to be devoured by this. You came to learn and to conquer and to build processes in place that help you deal with being gang stalked. This is the life that you're going to live. They are going to despise you. You are going to represent a constant error, a constant reality that they can be overcome, that people can exist outside of them, that there is a way to do it. So it's also important, I think, when you get to that point that you speak out as well and let other people know things that, not everything, keep things to yourself, but let people know that A, it's possible because you did it, and B, here's what I can give you. This is what I can give you. Now you decide what you can share and what you won't share. Unfortunately, other people, you know, for me, I give people just enough so that they could start their journey and they can figure the rest out on their own. There is no logic to giving everything that you know. You must keep things to yourself. Be logical, but you can also give to other people enough that they can deal with the brute force that is going to push them to be broken, the kind of energy that you know is very trying, and it'll push somebody to give up. And so in everything that we do, we don't give up. What would we be giving up? To go where? To do what? To be enslaved with them? The people fighting you are also enslaved. They're not like motivated with pep talks to wake up in the morning to get this done. They have to do it. They have to do it. So whether it's by virtue of being in debt energetically, spiritually being in debt, whether it's by virtue of that, where they keep seeing things in their life fall apart until they can get you back, or whether it's by being threatened by the people whose lives are falling apart, because lives are falling apart from the very top. Things are falling down from the very top. And from the very top, they are bullying people under them to do things because they think it's possible to come back. In my situation, people don't want to accept what the 4 deadly horsemen mean. It means an apocalypse. It means the end as we know it. It means total eradication of a power structure. This is what it means. Apocalypse does not really favor any one character. An apocalypse is going to happen whether the main character, the protagonist, needs to die or not. We've all watched these movies, we've all seen these shows, but these things are all told from a perspective of reality, okay? When an empire falls, it doesn't matter who the survivors are. Attacking a few survivors makes no difference to the apocalyptic end. An end will come. And oftentimes, ends, listen to me closely, oftentimes when an end is coming of this magnitude, an apocalyptic end, the plan is for every player on the board to be wiped out, good or bad. It doesn't matter. So what do I say to you? Remove yourself emotionally from these things that's happening. I've been saying this from the day that I've come on here. if you stay too close to this gang stalking thing and you look at reality too closely and you will be burdened, you will be depressed, you will be scared, you will feel these feelings of depression and anxiety come over you, this feeling of hopelessness. This is doesn't make a difference. It's going to happen either way. Detach yourself from it, be able to laugh at it, find humor in it. When I see gang stalkers outside sometimes, I'm just like, hey, me and you are in this together, eh, buddy? That's how I feel inside. We're in this together, eh? Nobody's having fun here. The fun time is over. Right now, it's a time of dismantling and destruction. It is a scary time. I don't know what's happening in my city, but every once in a while, every time I poke my head out, I hear something that makes me just want to retreat. The last thing that I heard in my city, now for anybody here that's just listening to this now, the last thing I heard in my city was they were finding bodies in dumpsters because the powers that be need to send a message because they feel God and my ancestors in their presence. And not just my ancestors, it's the universe. It's the universe that is making her position clear on what she requires. And time is not for the universe what time is for us, which means that it will be dragged out, it will be done in slow motion. There is no rush. It will drag this suffering out. These battles are not easy and they are not quick. They take their time. So you can go ahead and nestle in, just nestle in as far as this end that is coming, that is not coming, that is here. All of last year, if anybody can slow down and look at last year or what was happening the entire 2023, you will notice that things were coming undone. But there was such a hyper fixation, a focus on bringing another person down, on gang stalking people, on destroying people, that there was no time to connect the dots just on, I don't know, how would I say it? Like it just wasn't working. Things were being lost. Luck was being lost. Positions were being lost. And they were so well distracted that the universe had time to run around, you know, the exact same thing that they do to others, distract people so much with the gang stalking, with the turmoil, that they're tinkering and destroying things in the background and you have no idea, doing irreparable damage. And this is what God was doing while people were so hyper fixated on destroying people and meeting their goal and hitting their mark. God was in the back doing a whole bunch of rewiring. Feng shui, as Linda the realtor mentioned. Feng shui, redecorating their house, as I'm sure Linda would know a lot about. This is what's been happening for 2023. Trying now in 2024 to rewire a house at this late stage of the game, well, I applaud it. It's brave, but people know what they've stepped into. So your job as a targeted individual is to learn, is to observe, is to watch. And I envision myself spiritually as someone who is on the magic carpet and we are flying through as bombs are going over my head and things are blowing up underneath me, and Sharple is like flying past my face and I'm just like I went from being terrified and being like, what the hell is this? And why am I on this carpet? Get me off. To it feeling like it slowed down, and I can actually see as things start, I can see the chain of events, I can see what's going on. And there is no need to be afraid of this, but you do need to learn. And really what I'm looking for from myself is to learn as much as possible, about what this all means. How do I navigate this world that's a very new world that I've been opened up to? You know, just who are the characters, what do they want, etc., etc., and just like gleaning as much as possible. So I think that going through a gang stalking journey, you must continue to take steps forward. Don't stand in place and cry. Don't cover your face. Don't breathe. First of all, breathe, accept that it's happening, and take steps forward. You got to walk through this cycle one step at a time and just continue learning. And you're gonna come around the same corners a few times, like, oh, I remember how to deal with this. Oh, I know how to deal with this. Oh, I know how to deal with this. And just trust that the universe is correcting itself. Things are correcting themselves. The thing about karma is that karma doesn't care about intention. Karma doesn't care about, well, I didn't know, or I didn't mean to, or I'm sorry. That's fine, but you still have to pay karma. Even good people have karma to pay, unfortunately, because even though you were at a place where you didn't know better, still there are things that you're not supposed to do. So, I just wanted to start off that way. That took up half of the time that I needed it to take, but obviously it was important to say. Today I want to really focus on drug mules in particular, and not just necessarily targeted individuals at large. I want to talk about how my observations of drug mules and how they build these men. So if you've been following my videos have talked about how you enter into a new world spiritually. And so this is not much different when it comes to drug mules. It's the same thing. They've created an organization where they bring people into a new world. So they find these people, the younger the better. And I'm going to focus on just the men right now. They indoctrinate these men into not just a group, but a culture. It's a lifestyle. So they create an environment that will train these men in a particular way. They train their reactions, they train their mind to be manipulated, etc., etc. So let's talk about how they build them up to be resistant to loving energy. These sort of institutions understand that love is the most powerful vibration. They do know that. They pretend like they don't. They pretend that it's not, but they do. They know that for a fact. This is a vibration of creation. This is the vibration of not just creating children, which children should be created out of love, okay? But this is the vibration also of how you create anything, whether be it a business, be it partnerships, be it, you look at a partnership that is built on a very good airtight contract, and then you look at a partnership that may or may not have a contract, but it's built off of loyalty and love, and you see the functioning of these partnerships are just very different. And I remember I had someone say something to me at some point, and they said, the contract means nothing without the relationship. And it's true. A marriage that has no love, and a marriage could be a marriage between a man and a woman in a romantic sort of a romantic situation, or it could be, two people who come together to have a business. It could be, whatever, a person in an institution, whatever it is. In every marriage, okay, where there is goodwill, where there is loyalty, where there is trust, where these people plan to go the long haul, yes, the contract in place absolutely helps, but without the goodwill, the contract is just, it's about money, or it's about whatever the objective is. They could care less about each other. And so these contracts with drug mules are not built on love. This is not the energies that are assisting in the binding, the energies that are assisting in the keeping these people in place, robbing from these people, taking their essence, their energy, their destiny, their hope. These energies do not exist in loving environments. And so if they're helping to steal, they don't want any love there, because love can undo all of the things that they're doing, and they know that. So they come together, they bind themselves to these people, to these men. They bind themselves to these men spiritually first. So first comes, well, I don't know for sure. I'm not one of the practitioners that works for them, but I'm going to tell you in the way that I'm assuming it would logically make sense. So first comes the soul binding, the spiritual marriage, the formal ceremony on the altar. And if this person does an oath, great. I assume that drug mules probably don't need to take an oath, because they might find it to be a little bit weird. So maybe by virtue of participation, just by getting on the plane the first time, or driving your car across the border the first time, or whatever it is that you do the first time, by virtue of participation, that is the oath. That is you being in agreement with everything that's going on here. And so your journey begins. So they've binded themselves to you. They can now share in your dharma, your good luck, your, let's call it the karmic bank that's full of positive, full of abundance in it. They can now access that through you. They attach entities to you. You definitely get a monitoring spirit, because that spirit is going to see everything that you do. You start praying, it's going to know. You start connecting with people, it's going to know. It's going to know. It's going to be alerted to the sensation. There's going to be, it feels you. It feels you. As an attachment, you can think of it as like a cord that's built into, a cord from each member into the hive, into the what do you call it? The queen bee. And it can feel when you're happy, you're too calm, you're doing well financially, you're not on the edge. It needs you on the edge financially all the time. It needs you always on the edge. And once it sees something grows, it sucks it down, it sucks it out, it takes it away. So you have the binding spells, you have the destiny swapping spells, which is them basically almost like putting you in a situation where they're pulling your luck down, and they're exchanging their bad karma with you, which is why a lot of people don't believe in karma, because they just pass it off all the time. They swap it out, and they don't have to deal with the consequences of their own actions. Then you're going to deal with not just the bindings in that way, but you're also going to have the monitoring spirit, like I said. And then they're going to put you in little groups where everybody handles everybody else. I don't think absolutely everybody handles everyone else. I think there's certain people who are not necessarily handling other people, but they do create an environment of gossip where if you stay around them long enough, you start talking about other people, because they like this energy of competition. They like this energy where some people are doing better than other people. There's favoritism, and so it pits people against each other. I'll tell you, if you have kids, you know that you have to treat them equally, because if you treat one child better than the other child, then the two children resent each other. They don't resent you, they resent each other. So they know by granting favor to some over the others, it's going to create a kind of weird, hostile environment. So they bring these men together. These men come as groups. Some of the men in the group have higher positions than others. Some of the men in the group seem to be doing better financially than others. And even if they're not, they're encouraged to pretend like they are. Just pretend like you're doing better than the other ones. Buy these fancy things, be flashy, spend money, look like the one who's paying for things, look like the one who owns things, because this is how you gain dominance in the group over the other ones. So they create these situations where you're in a group with someone just as broke as you, who wants what you have, broker than you, and the one who makes the most money in that group might be the one who's treated the worst, because it's psychological. So they come together and they come as a little, they have their little pockets. This is my boy, this is my friend, blah blah blah. So the environment is meant to control, to monitor, to influence behavior. And men are easier to influence than women. Men are very easy to, because men operate out of ego and out of pride. So you just have to attack the ego, and you can convince someone to self-sabotage continually. So there's an environment of monitoring. Now, one thing that I notice is they always put sex demons on them, because they say that men naturally are more sexual, this, that, and the third. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I'm not sure. I would venture to say that everybody can employ the same amount of self-control. There are men who have been celibate for years, the same way women have, etc., etc. So you're in a situation where, one thing I notice about drug mules is, as soon as they're sleeping with a woman, they like to take pictures of the woman, or it could be a man too, because some of them are not straight. So this also goes for kind of the chief handlers as well, the coven members. They like to take pictures of you in compromising positions without you knowing. And this happened to me as well, where you'll be with someone and they'll just take a picture of you, and that, well, if you're paying attention, you'll know. And I don't know if it's a group chat that they have that they put it in, or they send it to their friends or whatever, but they take these pictures, and so they tell the friends. And so now they've alerted the rest of the hive that there's a new person around them. There is a outsider in their midst. So now the hive can monitor this person and this connection. So they take a picture of you and they think it's funny. And I've seen other handlers do this as well, where they might put it on social media in their stories, and the person that they're on this so-called date with doesn't even know that their picture is on somebody's social media and people are seeing it. And they do it in such a way where it's like this little mocking way of like, this is like a fresh kill type of thing, like this is what I'm gonna be eating tonight type of thing. And so the other ones are there and they're jeering and they're encouraging the behavior and blah 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 blah. Now, if this person is consumed, they're treated almost like a commodity. Like they toss this person aside, they're just gonna sleep with this person every now and again, and the hive needs not to be concerned about it, because you know what, they've already convinced this person that people are not deserving of being loved or trusted because everybody disappoints them. They've convinced this person that everybody disappoints them. This person doesn't understand that there is sabotage that has happened in their life, in every single fundamental loving relationship that they have, that has led them to think that this is the way it goes. But this is not the way it goes. Every situation is not a situation that leads to heartache. As a matter of fact, people who love you, but there was sabotage. There was chaos created. There was division. They destroyed these relationships for you in order to keep you in line and keep you on the conveyor belt, to keep you working, to keep you in a low vibrational place where love cannot find you, attach to you, heal you, and grow you out of this cycle. To keep you in a death reversed situation. Why death reversed? Because things are supposed to die in your life so new things can grow. Cycles are supposed to end. That's why the death card is not scary in the tarot. It's actually a good thing. You want cycles to end. You want new beginnings. So they monitor you. Let's talk about if it's a woman. So they monitor the woman. They keep an eye on her. They figure out who she is. What if she has a business, if she has a job, where she works, who her friends are, what type of character she has. And then they begin the sabotage. So in my situation, Daisy Porus came around and kept trying to convince me to date other people, regardless of the fact that I was with somebody already. Every time it was, I have this guy I want you to meet. Oh, come out with us. Oh, come drinking. Oh, this and that. It's constantly putting men in front of you. And I mean, at this time, I'm living with someone and she's still trying to put men in my face. So when that doesn't work, they're dejected. It doesn't work that they can, because first they're going to attack from the outside. They're going to try to make, and I think they're doing it on both ends. They're trying to get the guy to sleep with other women and they're trying to get the woman to sleep with other men. So they're trying to separate these two people. They need evidence of it. It's not enough to just do it. They need evidence. And believe me, if they need to doctor the evidence, if they need to make up screenshots, make up conversations, I found profiles with my name on them. When I was searching my name online, I found all kinds of things. So I would not put it past anybody that they've just made everything up. So who knows what so-called evidence is out there of what sort of behavior that people have accused me of, because they really need to break up this relationship. And if they can't, if you just coming around someone, they're already taking pictures of you, and it's not the first time it's happened to me that a drug mule has taken a picture of me just because I agreed to go on a date. If they cannot get that to happen, where they can be like, and if they're the type of people that if you've gone on a date, they're going to take a picture of you, then what do you think they're going to do if they're sleeping with you? They're going to take pictures of you. They're going to compromise you. They're going to, it's like, it's this boys club of humiliating women, putting their pictures in these messages, if not group chats, of, you know, scandalizing people's reputations, you know. And it's almost like they compete. And who do you think are the men that they're putting in place to sleep with these women? As soon as a man falls in love with a woman, who are they putting in place? It's the same people in the boys club that are going behind this person's back and sleeping with the same woman, just to break that relationship apart. Now, the more reasonable, not reasonable, that's not the word I want to use, the more of a good catch this woman is the more they're going to try to destroy this, because they're really going to play in this man's common sense. I remember when my ex and I were living together in a place that I owned, while I was selling another place that I owned, while a third place that I owned was being built. They convinced him that the place we were living together was embarrassing for us all to live there. We're only supposed to be there for 6 months. That this was embarrassing. And then they convinced him that the only reason that I'm with him is so that he can pay for the other place. And I just thought to myself, oh my God. They are reducing these men to morons. So let me put it into perspective. I stay in one place, or all of us were in one place, and everybody does this. Like, you know, a couple decides like, we want to buy a house, and they might move into their parents' basement in order to save, in order to do, you know, to put the house together the way that they want, and then they move. So it's like a couple lives together in a place, and it's not about how big it is. It's a pit stop. It's a transition, and it's owned, as a matter of fact, and it's cheap. So you're there for a bit, and you have a $2 million house being built. This person didn't have to contribute a dollar to anything that I have. They're not involved in financially, on paper. They've never been asked for anything, nothing. And they convinced this person that the place that we're staying together is embarrassing. None of them have a $2 million house. None of them have, I don't know any of them that had any houses, quite frankly. These are bums. These are street rat energies. But they can convince you that a woman that they cannot sleep with, that they couldn't attract, that has a store in the mall and building a $2 million house, is a woman that you should be embarrassed to be with. How do they accomplish this? Because they're laughing behind your back. If they are laughing behind your back, they think you're a moron. And I gotta admit, you're a little bit, you think you're a moron too. And if you think it and they think it and everybody's thinking it, well, I'm just saying, okay? We gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta ask yourself, how did they accomplish making me cut off my own tail? You gotta ask yourself that. So, you are in an environment as a drug mule. Again, I'm really focusing on the men because the women are a different story. You are in an environment where they have constantly convinced you that women only care about your money and that women are only out to use you. They've slept with every woman that you've had. So now you're a man who's paranoid about women. You also sleep with other men's women as well. You also pursue women who are in relationships. So you've seen it on both angles. Because of what's done to you, you do it to other people. You've slept with other people's wives. You've had children with women who were in relationships, living in a house with somebody else. So you don't have a very strong image of women, but it has been manufactured that way. You've been conditioned that way because of this toxic environment. So much so that when you get a good thing, you start going into panic mode. You become a little bit more obsessive about monitoring this person and their actions, and like the trust comes very difficult because of the environment that you grew up in, because of the way that people behave, because women do not value themselves. You're used to, when you want to get your way, you do the same thing to other people that probably gets done to you. When people want their way with you, or you want your way with other people, all they do is this. This is what they do. When people want their way with drug mules, they reach into their pocket, they pull $1 out, and they just do this. They don't have to say, if you do it, this is yours. They just do this. And so then you have energies, whether it's the women, whether it's the drug mules, whoever it is, everybody is taught to bow to this. So when you meet a woman and she's in your mind playing hard to get, all you gotta do, because you're racking your brain, how do I get this woman? How do I sleep with her? You're racking your brain. You just gotta pull the $1 out. And that usually works very well. Hook, line, and sinker. But what do you do when you meet a woman who has her own money, who not just has her own money, but knows how to make $1, who has self-respect, a woman who is literally not interested in what you have to offer her financially? What do you do when you're in that situation, you want to sleep with someone that just is not gonna bend or break. And time is passing by, and your boys keep asking, what about that one? What about that one? Did you get that one yet? What about that one? And it's been 6 months, 9 months, a year, and nothing's working. You start thinking, she probably has a husband. She's probably married. So you start getting very aggressive about coming in that house and looking around and looking for signs of anything. It could just be a hairbrush in the bathroom, whatever it is, you want to come around and you want to figure out what is stopping her, because she's supposed to at least fold for the money. And you come around and there literally is no one there. And now you're a little bit more confused. So you're constantly relaying these updates back to head office, aka your handlers, aka your friends, aka your boys, aka whatever. What is it about this person? It doesn't make any sense. And now you kind of admired it. You kind of admire the fact that this person's holding out, because in your mind, that's what a woman should be. A woman should hold herself to that standard. That's what you know logically, but no one has met that standard thus far. These people are seeing the way you speak about this person is changing. Your respect for them, your admiration for them is changing. And it's gonna send concern, because these people, perhaps, I don't know, I wasn't there, make a percentage of whatever you bring in. And so, if you are lost to a woman, to a family, then obviously that affects their bottom line. Even if the percentage doesn't come from what you bring in, but you were just put in place to make sure that this person sits in place, sits in position. These people have been able to get rid of every woman that's come around you because they've been able to either sleep with them, pay them off, suck them into the organization themselves, whatever. And then you find a woman who presents a challenge. So they can't convince said man not to have relationship with said woman. And so relationship begins, or said man is smart enough, if he's been there long enough, he's not telling these people about this woman anymore, because he knows that they're going to try to sleep with her. They're going to approach her. So said woman, if she's alert, is noticing that hyenas have began circling around her, and strange people keep coming around asking questions. I'm going to speak for myself. All of a sudden, you meet one Brazilian, you meet 20 Brazilians. You meet 20 Brazilians, your whole life is Brazilians. Everywhere. Brazilians everywhere. You might as well learn how to speak Brazilian at this point, or Portuguese. I say Brazilian because their Portuguese sounds different. But anyway, this is what starts happening to me. There are Brazilians everywhere. People are now following me home, trying to see where I live. They're digging up information because something's been alerted, whether it's through the monitoring spirit, whether it's through the energy that is on this that is attached to this person, that is always around this person, that I sense on this person, or whether it is the people that this person talks to. These people are conditioned to talk a lot, to always seek validation, to always one up each other, but it's for the intent and purpose of gleaning information, to coach each other, to encourage each other. But the minute one of them does better for themselves, now you're talking about, I consider Spanish people and Black people like the same thing. It's like the mentality is kind of the same. So it doesn't matter if all of a sudden you just start dressing nicer, or you get your hair cut more often, or you buy a new vehicle or a new house. The jealousy is the same. It is crabs in a bucket. Nobody wants to see anybody do better than the other person. So they start seeing this person's life upgrade since attaching to this woman. This person now is thinking about things like their credit score. They're thinking about buying homes. They're thinking now they got a new truck. Things are improving. They are always happy. They're looking better. They're gaining weight. What the fuck is going on here? We tell you when you can raise up. The people who bought my house have been fucking around for these people, excuse my language, sorry, have been putting in work for like 13 years in order to get their time in the sun. They tell you after how many years of service it's your time. They tell you when you're next in line. You don't just get to skip the line and jump the line and move up. So who is this energy that's come in here and who is taking the place of the queen bee? Who is it? Gotta get rid of it immediately by any means necessary. So this is what happens. They almost want to, but they don't. They want to go and see this person and say, listen, you're gonna stay away from this person no matter what happens, or else. They almost want to do that, but they don't operate like that. They have to break this relationship apart by any means necessary. They start sending spell work at everybody. They start attacking this person's money. Now, I'm looking at intranquil spirits and I'm wondering if maybe, I think there was an intranquil spirit sent to me, but I don't know if they always use intranquil spirits for everyone. And the reason that I'm saying that is I think a lot of the times the witch doctors, they have to take the place of an intranquil spirit. They have to themselves attack this person, gain access to this person's energy, gain access to whatever. And I think they have to do it themselves. In my situation, I don't think any I don't know. Maybe there was I don't know, but I definitely know they had to do it themselves round the clock. They had to almost function as this spirit themselves. But I can tell you this much. They start attacking this person's money because this person, it's like every time something goes good for this person starts noticing like their money gets attacked, you know, their peace gets attacked, they start getting gang stalked, things starts going crazy. And it's like, this is how they keep people in control. This is how they keep them suppressed. This is how they keep them subdued. This is how they bring them back to the fold. Get back in line, get back to work. If you want to beat these energies, you have to be able to say no to a dollar. When that dollar unfolds in front of you, you gotta walk on by. And this is not just a skill that women need to learn. This is a skill that everybody needs to learn. All money is not good money. All money is not good money. Money coming from places like this with these kind of attachments, the soul bindings, the spell work, all money is not good money. If you gotta stay broke for a bit to get up, such is life. That's how I see it. Such is life. They want to put you broke and then they want to say that you're gonna stay there. Not necessarily. Not when you're protected spiritually. Not when they are in an apocalyptic ending. An apocalyptic ending, because they've already said to the universe that this is the only way that they're going to stop, is if they are exterminated, if they are extinguished. And the universe is always going to be in agreement to whatever you tell her. So it got so bad that I'm pretty sure these people have manufactured evidence on me. They've called me a witch. They've called me a witch to people that I was friends with. People who, I don't know how they convince people that I was a witch, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. It had to happen. You know, they want these men to be with women who are like Daisy Porrises. These are the women who they want them to be with. Women who are going to be transient, women who are prostitutes, women who are, you know, of service to money. Let's say that. Not even of service to themselves, of service to money. And there is a distinction, and it should be understood. There are some people who are of service to money, And there's some people who are of service to themselves. Every time I put on lip gloss, this happens. There are some people who are of service to themselves. When you're of service to yourself, you don't allow yourself to be abused. You don't allow yourself to be manipulated. You don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. When you're of service of money, you do anything for money. And that's what they create. And that's why they have these mantras that they have these men repeat: money over everything. Because as you go and they give you money, you're giving up your life. You're giving service. You're giving power to something else. And so this is what happens. Drug mules end the same way. These men die alone. They are alone. These men are getting up there in age and they're still alone. The ones who can afford to will have a wife, but it's if the hive decides that it's okay. These men are coming of age, they're alone, no wife, no love, or they end up in jail. They're past their prime, they don't look the same. All of this stuff that made them them, that made them attractive when they were younger, all of this stuff is dwindling. It's going away. And so all you do have is money. To do what? A lot of the times it's like, a lot of these people, do these people necessarily have the means to show their income to purchase homes? No, they got to go through these people. You know, it's a lot of you only realize at the end what you've sacrificed. And I think it's the same with Hollywood, where you look at these like rock stars and these actors, actresses, whatever. You're in a mansion by yourself and you can't trust anyone, including the staff in the house. You can't trust anyone. You're in it alone. You always have to look behind your back. All you want is love. And things just don't work. And then you start noticing the pattern over time. And then you ask yourself, like, if you meet someone and you like them, is it worth bringing somebody into this when you know what's going to happen? So eventually you police yourself and you keep things very casual with everyone. You don't go too deep with people because you know how it's going to end. And I think for drug mules, the way that it's different is they end up having children all over the place. A lot of them have children in Latino countries, so they have attachments all over the place. They have these little cords to them. These people use the children to abuse them, and you can see when it's happening. So I spoke to someone that I think is a relatively new drug mule before. He was trying to convince me, telling me, 30,000 every couple weeks, or whatever he said. Whatever he said to me, 30,000 every couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. And in him saying that, I knew he was trying to convince me in some way of being some sort of drug mule. But what ended up happening was, we ended up in a conversation and he was saying that none of the relationships work, because the way he was talking about relationships, I said, I can't remember how the conversation started, but I must have said something like, well, after you get all this money, what are you going to want to do with it? And obviously a person's going to want to start a family. And I remember him kind of saying something to the extent of like, I was like, it kind of sounds like you've given up on love. And he's like, yeah, in a way I can say that I have given up on love. And I'm just like, well, if you've given up on love, don't you think, and I didn't say it to him, but in my heart I just knew. I was like, you've given up on it because they made you give up on it. And he was like, women over here are not good women. Real good women are Latino women. They cook for you and they take care of you and whatever. And I'm like, they're putting things in the food, like, and a good woman is not defined by these kind of actions. Like, you can manipulate someone this way. Why I cook for you, why I take care of you, why I do this, why I do that. And it's like, yes, everybody wants those things, but that's not really what it is. It's like your heart. It's kind of like the difference between saying, I worship God and I pray every day and I give offerings and I do all of this, but the heart is no good. Then really, are you of God? It's like You know, it reminds me of a reader that comes online and pretends to be such an amazing person, but is full of hate. And the very second that anyone says anything, or it's like this person flies into like a rage and their ego comes out and they're horrible and they just go on this tangent of trying to like destroy someone and whatever. And I'm just like, wow. You can't love God if your heart's not there. And it doesn't matter if a woman cooks or cleans or whatever she does in the house, whether she takes care of you or doesn't take care of you. It's about a person's heart. That's really what it comes down to. And these are the people that they try to beat off and away from you, is people who have a good heart. So it's funny because you meet all of these people, you have all of these kids all over the place, and drug mules will find it's the woman who you want to have a child with, who you have difficulty with procreating with. And that is by design. Again, John Ferreira definitely took from me, and by doing that, he took from God. And he is facing, he can do whatever he wants at this point. He is facing the consequences of doing that. So I say all this to say, from the surface, you can definitely look at these guys like they're slow. You're tempted to, but you know, when you look at things from a higher perspective, it is an environment of toxicity. It's an environment that encourages this. I think there's no person that doesn't want love in their life. There's no person who doesn't want to have a fulfilling union, but you're in an environment that is promoting you being a low vibrational version of yourself. It is promoting you being a lesser version of yourself. It is breeding you into being, you know, I don't want to say a womanizer, I want to say an F-boy, you know, like it's breeding you into that. I've seen it time and time again, you know, and I've seen it up close twice. One person I dated and another person I didn't date, a person who got into it, a person who we were all like friends together, and then they got into it after a while, and then it was like I could see the changes. They destroy existing relationships. Everybody there is divorced. They destroy existing partnerships. They just put you in situations, and you know, they gang stalk these people and they keep them under control. And that's the same thing they were doing to me, is gang stalking me, abusing me in whatever way. People become obsessed with you, you know, trying to knock every dollar out of your hands, destroying all relationships, and just trying to bring you to your knees in every way possible, taking from you. And you know what? I am going to be a star one day. I will. And so I should learn how to be gang stalked. That's how I see it. Because these people, like, they sent one housewife to DM me the other day and whatever. And it's like, I can get these people so easily. I don't see what is so special about them. I don't see what endearing qualities they have that's so special, that some of them, it's like they're not interesting as people. They were put into that environment. As people, they are not interesting. They don't suck people in. They don't draw people in. It's like they're just blah. But because there's an environment where they can create an artificial buzz around people, it doesn't matter. Go get some surgery, go do your lips, go do your behind, dress in a certain way, and then there you go. It's nothing special. There's nothing, you know, there are people who do have a star quality. Those are the people that they hound. Those are the people they want to take down. Those are the people that they want to destroy. And then they have people with no personality. And then, you know, the other thing that they do to these people is they also make these men insecure. They make them insecure about their looks. They make them insecure about anything that they can make fun of. They do that. None of them in there are perfect. None of them look amazing. None of them are like, I'm not saying people are not amazing people, but it's like the people making fun of the other people are also like nothing spectacular either. It's like some audacity, you know. I just say all of this to hopefully, you know, have people understand that the circumstances happening in your life are not by accident. Every single person who's a drug mule cannot be having the same life experience. How comes nobody has true love? And how comes every time someone does, they have to run and hide? Now, I think guys who've been in for a while, they know it. They see it when they see it. They see a guy come around with a new girl and they know that's going to be knocked out of the person's hands. They know it. They know it. But, you know, I'm putting it out there because there are a lot of people who don't know it. This is why my channels are attacked. This is why, you know, all of this, the hacking, the stalking, the craziness is because when they figured that I saw through them, they decided that there's no way, because I would wake this person up. And if God says a person's going to wake up, they're going to wake up regardless of me or anyone else. It's going to happen. People are going to come to find out. And it only takes someone questioning something and pointing something out for you to sit back and say, well, now that you speak of that, and now that I think of it, what about these other things that happened in the past? Where is the connection there? For them to realize what they've been in. It's a very shocking realization. It's very terrifying. But, you know, isolate from them. Get ready to be gang stalked. Get ready for, you know, the mess to happen. Excuse me, if it takes a year, 2, 3 years, walk away. Walk away. It's not worth giving the rest of your life. I think there's always a solution to every problem. I think you have patience with God. You have patience with God. And you have strength. And you take actions when your heart and your mind is telling you to. And you're going to know the right time for you to do things. And the right time to lay low. And the right time to just relax. Or whatever it is. Or just whatever it is. I always say, and I'm going to close out this message with the same thing that I say all the time, is that you're supposed to build a spiritual relationship to get out of these soul bindings and these soul ties that these people have put you in, because absolutely they have put you into a soul tie and a binding for sure. They've put you in a predicament spiritually that is going to be tough to get out of, and then they're going to use their strength on the physical realm. They're going to use physical strength to force you, to bully you to stay. And I remember saying in the very beginning, I said to the practitioner, John Ferreira, I said, these people don't even know what they're signing up for. And he said, of course, he got very defensive and said, of course they know what they're signing up for. And they don't know what they're signing up for. They don't know that this is a cycle that no one will allow to close. So the 2 crystals for the day that I've brought up, one of my favorite, black obsidian. This is a crystal of protection. On this card, it's called the crystal of soul cleansing. Soul cleansing. It's to do with your true self, and the vibration is earthy. It's a deep healer. Black obsidian offers insight into causes of dis-ease. Not necessarily disease in the body, but a lack of ease. It removes blockages and debris, sorry, from past lives, and reverses previous misuse of power. Reverses previous misuse of power, addressing power issues on all levels. The stone blocks psychic attack and removes negative spiritual influences. It anchors the spirit into the body. Black obsidian brings deep-seated emotions and issues to the surface, accessing your shadow and integrating positive qualities hidden there. You need your shadow self. People look at their shadow self kind of like how you see dark shadows. I want to say dark shadows around your house. Not everybody sees that, hopefully. Your shadow self is almost like a lower version of yourself. It's like the defender version of yourself. But you need it. You must master it. You can't let it get out of control. So there are positive qualities in your shadow self. So it's saying here that obsidian accesses your shadows and then integrates the positive into your light version of yourself. It works extremely fast, extremely fast. I would venture to say almost instantly. It works extremely fast, but you may need other crystals to deal with those issues that rise to the surface. Obsidian will force healing. It will bring things out. It will flush out emotions. And I spend a lot of time with my obsidian crystals. On the body, it deals with digestion, detoxification, arteries, joints, circulatory system, and the prostate. And in the mind, it clarifies the mind and clears confusion. This is black obsidian, one of my favorite stones. I love it a lot. I wear obsidian on both hands, and I'm going to explain crystals and the hands you wear crystals on and why in just a second. The second one that came out was apatite. Apatite. It's the crystal of spiritual development. It is a blue crystal. Apatite deals with interference between consciousness and matter. The vibration is high. It is a stone of manifestation, attuned to the future, and yet connecting to past lives. Apatite balances the physical and subtle energy bodies and overcomes nervous exhaustion. Nervous exhaustion. The stone develops your psychic abilities, enhances spiritual development, deepens meditative states, and raises Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy is, I like to think of, I have to find a definition for, I'm going to do it in a second actually. Clearing blockages in the base chakra. Apatite, I don't know this word. Ameliorates frustration. Ameliorates, I don't know, what is that? Let's look it up. This is what you do when you encounter a word that you don't know what it means. You find the definition of the word, and you don't try to guilt the person using the words that you don't understand into using smaller words to meet you at your level. You rise up. Because I've had comments about the words that I use and stuff like that. Just Google it. Ameliorates, to make better or more tolerable. Medicine to ameliorate the pain. So it says here, it clears blockages in the base chakra, and it ameliorates frustration or makes tolerable frustration, and supports expressing passion without guilt. On the body, it deals with the energy system, bones, cells, calcium, absorption, cartilage, teeth, joints, rickets, metabolism, glands, meridians, organs, and hypertension. And in the mind, it dispels apathy, induces openness and social ease, and dissolves alienation. So that is apatite. That's the crystal that came out today. I want to talk about, before I let this video end, about the hands that you put protection on. So the left hand is what I would call the occult hand. The left hand is the hand of receiving. Attacks will be received on your left side. Not to say that people do not attack the God on you or the God in you, but your attacks will be received on your left side. So you want all of the protection to be on the left hand. So if somebody is sending you, let's say, like I get rage attacks, somebody's projecting feelings of rage towards me. When that is sent, I'm going to put the protection on the left hand, because that is where the emotion is being absorbed into the body. The right hand is, I call the hand of God. And so that's the hand where you give. And so you're giving of yourself, you're giving your love, you're giving wisdom, you're giving guidance, you're giving whatever it is that you're giving. And so that is the hand where you encourage that sort of energy. So whatever is being built, prosperity, any of that, that would come on the right side. I see people doing the opposite, and it's not the way that it should be. And it's like a general consensus that people do this, but this is the opposite way. When I first started wearing crystals, my crystals, I can't remember what my first crystal was, but I think it was a protection crystal. I think it was an obsidian or a tourmaline. And I put it on my right hand and it would itch to no end. It did not want to be there. And no matter what, I tried to endure it, but I couldn't take it. So I moved it over to, I didn't move it to, I thought maybe it was dirty, but it was a fresh crystal. I try to charge it in the sunlight. I try to charge it by the moon. I try to do all of this stuff and it didn't work. And then, considering everything wasn't working, I shifted it to another hand and then it was at peace. So it was at peace when it was on my left hand. And so that is what I'm saying to you is, I was going through a spiritual awakening. So of course, spirit was guiding me. So you need to have your crystals on the appropriate hand, and you need to protect at all costs your left side, because that is the side where you receive, whether it's spiritual attacks, whether it is, and it's going to be spiritual attacks that you're protecting from. So that is extremely important to do. I'm going to pull a card of the day, and then I'm going to call it a day with this message, with this live. They have tried to do everything with my lives. They've tried to have people come in to distract me from my messages. They've had people come in to insult me, to try to infuriate me. And now that that door is closed, now they're just basically just hacked on the computer doing their very best. So it is going to be constant, and that's why you cannot emotionally involve yourself in the situation. So the Spirit Oracle cards, the messages for today: it is time to stop letting worry rule you. Instead, get excited about your future and all it will bring. What energy and emotion you put out comes back to you with a little conscious effort on your part. That happy ending can and will be yours. Believe that. So maybe there's somebody out here who is worrying, because I've got this card, I think, more than one day in a row. This is the second time that I'm seeing this card. Please stop worrying. I have gotten to the point that I had to stop worrying, because it's like, it's going to take what it's going to take. It's going to take how long it's going to take. I'm protected. I'm with God. So I just release it. Envision your future. Envision what you want. It absolutely will happen for you. Second card, and I keep getting this card, and this card is not for me because it has nothing to do with me. So somebody needs to hear this. If you find yourself stuck in a situation you are unhappy with, ask yourself why you are still there. Is it fear of the unknown? Leaving toxic situations or people can be the best thing you could do for your soul and your spirit. Be fierce. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope that Spirit has spoken to someone through me and through my messages, and I hope that you guys find something from it. Please, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please share it on your platform so that somebody else can get the message. And I thank you for anybody who's hung in there with me. Have a great day.